What's up, YouTube? Back with another video. Um, so today we're gonna be talking about the time I got caught high, and that see, it's two different times I got caught. But we're gonna be talking about the first time, and if y'all like the first one, then I'll probably go ahead and do a part two. The second time I got caught, cause the second time, oof. Anyway, so basically I'm gonna tell you how I end up even going to get high in the first place. So I'm at school and stuff, and Jacob. I'm talking to Jacob and shit. And he like, hey, you trying to go get high at the school? Cause I told him I smoked. He didn't believe I smoked though. Him or Xavier didn't believe I smoked. I was like, Xavier asked me something and I ain't know. He's like, you don't smoke. I was like, yes I do. Which I did, but like I ain't smoked since I moved over there, type of shit. So then like, Jacob. So he like, yeah, you trying to smoke at school? I'm like, shit, it's whatever. So then I go home and shit. And, he called me. He like, you coming? I'm like, yeah. So then I tell my sister, I'm like, can you drop me off at the library because I need to go do some work and stuff like that. Which I actually was going up there to do work sometimes with Sheldon and stuff like that. But anyways, Jacob. So I go up there with him and like I don't know why I did this, but like I handed him the money as soon as I saw him. I just gave the nigga the 20, and like we had like $50 and shit like that. So then his brother like, damn, he's like, you quick as hell to give him the money. I'm like I don't even know, bro. And then like there was this other dude with us and stuff. I remember both of their names, but you know I ain't gonna say their names and stuff like that. But yeah, so we go to the store or whatnot, and then his brother and his brother friend go in there and shit so they can get some blunts and stuff like that. And then like me and Jacob just sitting out there, we talking and shit. And then he leave. I mean like they come back out the store and stuff. So then we go to the library, and his brother and his brother friend went in the bathroom so they could like roll it up and shit like that. But then, damn, I just skipped the whole part. First, I gotta talk about when we got the weed. My dumb ass. So, give him the money. We went to Panera Bread or something like that, and we was like waiting on dude to pull up because they had called him. And like, we do pull up. His brother go to the car and get the weed and shit. And like I said, we went to the gas station and stuff like that. Then we went to the library, right? Like I said, and then they went in the bathroom. They rolled it up and stuff. And as they doing that and shit, like me and Jacob waiting out there and we talking and shit. And I guess we was looking out or some shit like that. But they in there rolling it up and shit. And then they leave out there. They like, we rolled it up and shit. So we on our way back to the park. And like, they went and smoked it and shit. And like, well, I was there too, obviously. Like, we all went and smoked the shit. And the moment after we smoked the shit, they was like, you puffing around? I'm like, I know what I'm doing and shit. But like, the moment after we like got done smoking, Jacob, bro. Jacob was tweaking like a motherfucker. I was tweaking like a motherfucker too, but Jacob, his ass. The nigga walked in the street and we like, what the fuck is you? His brother like, Jacob, he was like, yo, I need to pay attention. And I was just sitting there like, damn. I'm like, Jacob, because like, he was walking in the street and I grabbed him first and I pulled him back. I'm like, Jacob. And then the car went past. Brother like, he's like, oh, my bad, folks. His brother was like, you need to pay attention to what you doing and shit. I'm like, I'm just sitting there like, fuck, whatever. But like, I wasn't even high. I wasn't high yet. So I'm just like, fuck it. I'm like, that shit was weak. And we remind you, like, we spent $50 on it. And we ain't get, like, it was, that shit was strong as hell. But then, like, after that, we head back to the park. And this time we go to the park bathroom. Because he was going to roll up another one. And, like, I'm just in there. I just close my eyes and shit. Then, like, and then as soon as I closed my eyes, my ass was high as hell. Like, I'm telling you, I was high as fuck. But anyways, that shit happened. And that's how I was able to smoke and shit. But then like the time I got caught high, like it's when I had found some weed. I was with Sheldon and shit. We walking, Joe Osco. I get some weed and shit. And then like we meet up with Jalen and Jacob. And long story short, Jacob no Sheldon was undoing the shit and cause he got some wrong ass nails. I had cut mine so I couldn't do it. The nigga fucked it up. But Jacob ended up fixing it and shit like that. So me, Sheldon, Jacob, and Jalen ended up smoking it. And then like Sheldon went home, so it's just me, Jacob, and Jalen, and we chilling at the park. And the crazy part is like we chilling and shit, and like as soon as I walked to the car, No, wait, hold on. It was Jalen went home and Sheldon was still there. And like we walk as I'm walking to the car, like my sister can pick me up. I'm walking towards the car and shit. They tell me some, Dejan, is you high? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why would y'all say that shit? And then I get in the car and my sister like, is you high? I'm like, no. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why would you? Remind you, like when I'm high, my shit get like puffy, like my eyes get puffy and shit. So I'm like, no. I'm like, why would you think I'm high and shit? She like, she's like, your friend just said that you high. I'm like, no, I'm not high. So fast forward like a couple days later, I asked her could I go back to the park and shit, and she like, no, I asked her could I go to the library. I wasn't trying to smoke this day. I was actually trying to go up to the library and do some work with Sheldon and shit. So I asked her, I'm like, can I go to the library? She like, what you going up there for? I'm like, to do some work. She's like, if you getting high, I'd rather you just tell me than me finding out. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm not getting high. I'm like, why would you think I'm getting high and shit? So then that happened. I go to the library with Sheldon, and me and him, we actually doing work and shit. Like we weren't trying to smoke and nothing like that. We doing our work and shit. And all of a sudden I get a text from my phone, and it's my brother. He like, is you smoking? I'm like, what? I'm like, how would you even know what I'm doing and shit? So I'm like, automatically, my sister told him. I'm like, why would you go and tell him my business and stuff like that? He study want to go back and forth with me, and the crazy part is this the same brother who let me smoke with him before, and I'm just sitting there like, you act like you didn't know I already did this and shit like that. Cause like if you let me smoke with you, and as soon as I get caught, you turn around and do some shit like that, like oh you smoking now and all that. I understand you playing it off like you didn't know, but to text me and then tell me like, oh you smoking and stuff like that, that's some fucked up shit. Like I don't understand why you would do that, cause that's just that shit pissed me off really, and like that's what made me want to like stop talking to his ass, cause I'm like, you real phony for that. But then that happened. I'm telling Sheldon, I'm like this nigga. I'm like my brother just texted me, and then I already told Sheldon like everything that happened in the car, like how my sister was like, if you getting high, I'd rather you just tell me than me find out. And Sheldon's just like, she was like, I don't know what to say. Like we both sitting there like, wow, like she really just sat here and told him that and shit like that. Fast forward like, I was Sheldon and shit, and I didn't answer my phone. I don't know why I didn't, but like I walk with Sheldon back to Jewel Oscar again, and we went in there to get some stuff for him and stuff like that. And we leave. I'm like, can you drop Sheldon off at home? She like, yeah. So she dropped Sheldon off, and we in the car and shit. And like, my brother called, and my brother you smoking weed and all that. And then she was like, my sister was like, yeah, you smoking weed and all that. And I'm just sitting there like, wow, you really told my business. And the crazy part is about that, like I said, I wasn't gonna smoke that day, and I wasn't gonna smoke that day. But I still went and got some weed that day. And the crazy part is the weed was in my pocket the whole time they talking about this. And I'm just telling them like, no, I'm not going to do it no more. The whole time I just got weed in my pocket. And I'm like, and this all happened like a year ago. I think like a year ago. I still fuck with Sheldon though. I don't talk to Jacob like that, but you know, like, I mean, I ain't got nothing against him. We cool and shit like that. But yeah, that ended up happening. And I'm just in there like she really just went and told this man what I was doing. And the man don't even live near us or anything like that. That nigga live in a whole nother state. So I'm like, what the fuck is you even telling him for in the first place? I'm like, he don't even need to know what's going on. But she went and did that shit. And like, I'm just in there confused as fuck. I'm like, I was shocked. I'm like, how could you do that? And like, I came in there hot another time. And like I was just sitting there chilling on the couch, just watching TV. Jacob called me, he like, "Is you high?" I'm like, "Yes, bro." I'm like, "I'm still high, bro." And like when I was with Jacob and his brother and his friend and shit, like I swear I was tripping like a motherfucker. And like it's only cause haven't been high in a minute. I say I haven't got high in like 3 years. I ain't even gonna. I was sober. That's only cause I ain't had like no way to smoking nothing like that. And smoking wasn't that serious to me. It still ain't serious to me. I don't even, be honest, I'm kind of sober now. I don't even, I'm going to lay off the shits for now. Until I'm old enough to do what the fuck I want to do. 16, by the way. I'm going to lay off for that for a minute. But, right, I'm tripping and shit. And then we go to Krishan house. And Krishan, like, I think Krishan noticed, like, I was high. He like, Dejan smoke too? I'm like, yeah. I was sitting there like fucking stupid. I was sitting there like this. I was like rocking back and forth and shit like a fucking weirdo. And then right, they was like, huh, they was like, you want the rest, bro? I was like, no, bro. I'm like, and I don't know why, but I was tweeting like a motherfucker. I'm like, I don't want no more of that shit. I was like, y'all could keep that shit. And I don't know why I said that shit, because I was a fucking goofy for that. But I was like, look, bro, I'm high as fuck and I'm tripping. I'm like, y'all could keep that shit. I don't even want it. And they was like, they looked at each other like really, motherfucker. Like I know they was like, this nigga a bitch. I'm like, damn. Cause I know that's what they was thinking in their head. They was like, this nigga can't take shit. I'm just sitting there like, fuck it. And then Jacob was like, you want me to go back to the party with you, fuck? I'm like, yeah. So we go there. And the weirdest shit happened too. Like when me and Jacob went back to the back to the park and shit. Cause he was looking at a picture like his ex or something like that. And I kid you not, this nigga threw up. And I was like, damn. I'm like, I was talking like for a lot. I was like high as hell, and I just kept talking. And Jacob looked at his ex, and I swear to God, this nigga threw up. And the weirdest shit was like when he threw up, like after he threw up, we went to see like, and there was nothing right there, but I saw that nigga throw up, and I'm like, what the fuck? And we both like, where the fuck it go? Cause like I saw the nigga throw up on the ground right there, and like as soon as I go over there to see like is he good and shit, like there's nothing there, and we like, what the fuck? I don't know what the fuck we was doing. I know that shit was some, that weed was, that shit had us high as hell. I'm like, what the fuck? Cause he threw up, and I'm just sitting there like, this nigga threw up, but where the fuck is the throw up? On some weird shit, bro. I don't know. But yeah, that's basically what happened. I guess I'm gonna end it right here. But you know, if y'all want part two, then you know, just let me know. Ain't nothing to it. I mean, shit. If y'all let me know today, I could make it today too. So just let me know in the comments. You know what up. But yeah, me and him was like tweaking like a, and that nigga Jacob, he smoked like almost every day as far as I knew. But I was like, shit. We both was talking about that shit. We like, where the fuck the throw up go? Bye, y'all. I'll see y'all later. You know what it is. Like, comment, subscribe, all that shit.